one. Joti Balani, welcome to the Data Strategy Show. 66 questions, Data Leaders Unplugged. Joti, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it. It's an honor to be on the show.
Oh, it's an
66
absolute
questions.
pleasure.
We'll see how long we get.
It's not going to take 5 days, hopefully, or
Yeah.
5 hours. So I think the quickest anybody has done has been about 32 minutes. The longest I've had is about an hour and 5 minutes. So let's see if we can get close to the shorter version. No, but
All
66
right, let's do
questions
it.
and no pressure. So let's do it. Joti, tell me, what's your wake up ritual?
I put on my gym clothes. I go for a walk with my coworker Charlie, who is not going to be noisy today, but he usually is pretty noisy. So I go for a walk. I listen to an audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
That's really my favorite time of the day. It's around 6:30 to 7:30 is when I usually do this. I come back, I do my rowing, I do my yoga, go for a shower, start my day. That's really
Great.
it sets me up
That's your
for the
setup.
rest of the
Yeah,
day.
wonderful,
Yep.
wonderful. What would you say is your biggest strength?
I think the ability to connect dots and people
Mm-hmm.
to problems that need solving,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just loving humans. I love people.
Good.
I love understanding people.
Well, I think there's more complexity around that, isn't there?
There is.
Very similar. You and I know what we laugh at anyway. What's the biggest learning experience you've had?
Less is more.
Great. I love that. Are there any hobbies that you will never give up?
Learning music. I've been learning vocals for the last couple of years.
Oh, wonderful. What kind of vocals?
It's actually across the board. My teacher is actually a child prodigy from India. She was on the
Wow.
Saregama winner when she was 10 years old.
Oh my
She's
goodness.
now in her 20s.
Yeah.
But what a phenomenal, like we dive into what music is and the
Yeah.
history, and I just love
Amazing.
it. I would not give that up.
Sounds really, really cool. I love that. My daughter wants to be a singer, so she's, we always talk about who's her favorite and this and that, but it's good. What makes you angry?
Injustice.
Mm-hmm.
When I find somebody being mistreated, I will step in.
Yeah.
Because respect is important, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what anybody looks like with their socioeconomic status. That just gets my blood boiling when I watch somebody getting disrespected.
Yeah. Do you have a first memory of life?
I do. I remember my favorite frock. Now I'm of Indian descent. I don't know if you remember that word. I think it's a British
frock
word too,
Yeah,
right?
it's a British
Frock?
word. Yeah, frock.
It's a British word.
Yeah.
It is a frock, a red frock with these flowers, and I'd always want to wear that. I would ask my mom, I want to wear this every time we go out.
Yeah, that's super cool. What are you most excited about these days?
I think meeting people, and you're an entrepreneur as well. We talked a little bit about that. It is so heartening to meet people that support you, complete strangers, when you have a conversation and you just connect right away.
Mm-hmm.
And they go out of the way to help you. That's a beautiful thing. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of hope for humanity, despite everything going on.
Yes, that's
fantastic. Bad in the world.
Yeah. No, I agree. What's the best compliment you've ever received?
The kindness and the support that you give somebody. I've been mentoring people for a long time, and the one question I ask them, I never run interviews. I don't even have a recruiter. As I've been building my team, I ask folks in 10 minutes, just tell me your story.
Sure.
I want to know your story. And some people have been in tears because they said nobody's ever asked me that.
Yeah, I think
it's just that kindness.
I think that's extremely important. So it's a great, I think, way to ease people, but equally just to get to know what drives them and what motivates them. That's why we're doing 66. So what's a cause that's important to you?
Education and training. We have the next whatever 5, 10, 15, whatever time is left for me on this earth. I want to share knowledge. There are people that need to figure out what's the new world going to look like, and it's here. I work in AI. There's a statistics that says there's 87 million jobs by 2025, new jobs. Yet there are people who are not ready for the talent. There's a talent gap.
Yes.
So I've been training folks on AI, and it's completely different than learning in university because I think the education system's broken.
Mm-hmm.
Mentoring, apprenticeship, and giving people the opportunity to work with, problem solving, giving them access to all the tech and the mentorship. It's spectacular. That's
you say that. I saw something on LinkedIn the other day, which actually had the list of countries who invest in apprenticeships by, country, government, etc. And the US was the smallest on that, was the least.
That's right. That's right.
That was crazy. I think the UK was second because we do have quite a good investment into apprenticeships, but I was so surprised. Anyway, I think we could talk about that for a while, couldn't we? What makes you smile the most?
When I see acts of kindness, when I see people be kind to each other.
Others. Yeah, yeah. Do you have a secret talent?
Secret talent. Oh, so it's a talent that nobody knows about?
Yes, correct.
Wow. I share stuff pretty openly. Now you got me thinking, man. This one's I can wiggle my ears.
Oh, you can. Even I can. No, but not like that.
I don't know whether that's a talent. Like, talents like is that good for somebody?
Well, that's a good party talent. Why not? It's a good party trick, People are just it's a good conversation starter. If you weren't doing what you're doing now, what would you be doing?
I would have a cafe on a beach somewhere with beautiful waters and just have people from all over the world. I love cooking. I love feeding people. I think it's the biggest act of love you can do is to feed.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually my dream. That's also, I am going to do that at some point.
Awesome. I love that. What are the 3 things that you can't live without?
My family. My alone time.
Yep.
And the ability to gain knowledge, read, listen, really understand the world. That's oxygen for me.
Yep. Great answers. If you could, what fictional character would you want to be?
Monsieur Poirot. Agatha Christie. I'm a big mystery thriller buff. I've been reading Agatha Christie since I was, Mills and Boons.
Oh my goodness, yes, I know them.
Books.
Yep.
All my friends would be reading that, and I'd be like, in Agatha Christie, I said, I can't stand it. I said, I am a detective. That is who I'd want to be. And in particular, because she had many characters, right? It would be
she did. Brilliant. What's the last show that you binge watched?
So my husband and I have been watching The Last Kingdom, which is actually how England came to be.
Yes, I've seen it, but I haven't. I've seen the little, the image, but I haven't watched it. Good.
Fascinating.
Good. Oh, good.
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Oh, I might watch that then. Might be historical.
I love history.
Yeah.
Yes.
Might be historical for my daughter. What's the most adventurous thing you've done in your life?
Zip lining.
Okay.
In Costa Rica. I said, what the hell am I doing? Because I have 2 boys, my husband, they're all pretty adventurous.
Okay.
And being the only female in the house, it's like you feel so much pressure and shame to do things.
Yes.
And I'm like, they're like, yeah, you can do it. And I'm like, what the? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just
do it.
And you get this sweat going down your back.
Yeah.
Because you're going over the jungles. This is like the rainforest.
Yes.
But I insisted on going. There were 13 zip lines. I insisted on going the first 10 with the guide, and then finally had that. Interestingly enough, at the end of it, there was a Tarzan swing that you could do.
Okay. Yeah.
I did that, no problem.
Really?
And everybody else were like, "That is freaking scary." I'm like, "Wait, I just
I could do anything."
It was when I swung over and I saw down. I said,
Oh, right. Yeah, don't look down. That's the thing they should tell you. Yeah.
That's right.
How would you define yourself in 3 words?
Passionate, communicator, Spiritual.
Brilliant. What's the biggest surprise you've had this year?
Being invited to speak at a conference in Guatemala.
Oh, very good.
Called the Volcano Summit.
Wow.
Which and I just realized Latin America is rising. It was through many different introductions. People like, oh, you need to talk to this person. That's the part I really love about this. I talked to somebody like, you need to talk to this other person.
Mm-hmm.
And landing there, not knowing anything, and there's a perception you have of countries, in your mind.
Yep.
Kidnapping and beautiful. It's Antigua is where they had it. We stayed in the hotel where the conference was, which was a monastery.
Wow.
A 17th century monastery.
Amazing.
I wouldn't have never expected that I would be there meeting amazing people from all over the world. Oof.
And it's beautiful. I must say, it's a beautiful part of the world. It's I think people have a very different perspective of it. Is there anything that is currently inspiring you in the data world right now?
It is. I think more people waking up to its power. And, just like Star Wars, there's a dark side.
Yeah.
And people don't realize it. Is when you tell them, it's almost like the narrative you give people, because it comes from where they stand, especially when you think of people in the shoes they wear. What do they think about data? If you talk to data analysts, I really feel bad for data analysts because all they're doing is creating charts.
Yes.
And the business people are trying to figure out, well, what does that data tell me?
Yep.
But really stepping back and telling people, forget the tools and tech for now. Think about the data as a blood, like, we were talking about before. If you think of it as a blood flow, it's carrying vitamins and minerals, but it also might have disease in there. How would you look at it? So when people think about it that way, more people are stepping on going, wow, didn't think about it like that.
Yeah.
Right?
And you use that analogy and they realize that, it actually, every single thing they do within their business, with their customers, with their suppliers, partners, anything they do, at the end of the day, the result is a bit of data. So you're absolutely right. No, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Don't try to do too much.
That's a good piece of, especially for entrepreneurs, because you just want to do everything.
Yeah, and what I've realized is early on, you have to shift mindsets, because I came from the corporate world. It took me some time to sort of recalibrate what I want to do. And I was a list maker. I'd make lists all the time, and I would try to account for everyone. Stephen Covey, 7 Habits, all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I have now reached a point of flow.
Yeah.
I intuitively know what I need to focus on. It's really fascinating, and I don't have to make lists anymore. I will have the big items, placed on my calendar, and the little things. But I always put humanity first.
Yeah.
Is if somebody needs me over something business, that will take precedence. That has changed everything with people, because I think with technology now leading the way, and there's a book I recommend for you and your listeners. It's called The Exponential Age by Azim Azhar. And he frames this beautifully. And for me, it's just being in flow. So the advice that I got led me to that, shed the ability, time measurements, right? For me now is more being in flow.
No, that makes sense. Sorry, do you remember the time or the moment that your career completely changed?
I do. 2018, when I did my first independent consulting outside the golden cages of corporate.
Yeah. Wonderful.
You have this imposter syndrome, right?
Yes.
Can I do this? Because this is all me. I don't have a brand behind.
Nope. And suddenly you know what you've been doing for so long, and you literally walk into a place and they're ready to listen to you. And you've got to be switched on and know exactly, and that's the biggest thing. I think that's why, because you know it all, don't you? It's there. you've got the experience, you know how to, you know, embed it, you know how to implement it. But it's just one of those things. I think once you do that, then you're just like, well, I can do that now. That was, you know, very, very easy. Anyway, what makes you feel accomplished?
When I see the light in someone's eyes of when they do something that they told me that they don't think they could have ever done.
Yeah, that's a great
I've been
moment.
training many people for the last 12 to 18 months in the conversational AI, the data science space. And they told me, and they came from completely different backgrounds, and they landed their first roles in the new conversational AI. Conversation designers is a brand new role, just born 2 years ago.
Okay.
And they, in fact, there's a amazing lady who trained with me for a year. She landed her job at Lloyd's Bank.
Amazing.
She's based in the UK.
Fantastic. I didn't even know that there was a conversational designer job role. So that's new to me as well. Yeah, interesting. What 3 words describe living in the US?
Chaos. In every way, with, you know, political especially.
Yes, yeah.
But there's this beauty that's emerging, because I think a lot of people, I would say the beauty, rediscovering the beauty. It's still the freedom. The freedom.
Brilliant.
Right? Well, why people move to the States.
Yeah. Now, I think I know the response to this one, but optimist or pessimist?
Optimist.
What's heavily
forever?
Yeah. What's heavily played on your music playlist right now?
There's actually I listen to, you know, both the Bollywood and you know, Hollywood and actually across the board, global music.
Yep.
Jalebi Baby.
Oh, I don't know that, but that's a great title.
Oh my God.
Jalebi
Tesher. Jalebi Baby.
I'm going to write that down. I'm going to go on
to
Spotify and I'm going to see. I will have to listen to it now.
It's playing on all the dance floors. You know, now that weddings have been happening, we've been going to parties the last months.
Yeah.
It's the song that's always playing.
Or everyone I know is pretty much married now, so we hardly. I mean, and even though, you know, the ones that could be marriageable age aren't getting married, you know. So
married.
You know, okay.
Another topic we should do a podcast on.
Jalebi Baby. I love the title. Anyway, what 3 things are at the top of your bucket list?
The cafe on the beach.
Yep.
Traveling to breathtaking places to show what Earth really looks like. And performing at a concert, live singing. I want to get to that. That's always been my dream, is to perform on a big audience, on a big stage. So we'll see when that happens.
Love it. Do you have a guilty pleasure?
Oh yeah. Dark chocolate.
Oh, you do.
90% cacao 90%.
Oh my goodness. That is no, I couldn't do that. I can hardly even do 70%. Wow.
I don't know what it is. See, that with espresso, and I think it's a taste thing, right? Everybody's got different taste profiles.
Put them both in your mouth at the same time and let it melt? Or
sometimes I do.
Right.
Sometimes I do.
Yeah.
There's actually cafes, I think in the US, even outside, they'll give you that little espresso with the chocolate outside.
Yeah. Okay.
But otherwise, at night, I'm having. There's one Ugandan one. There's a chain here called Trader Joe's. They carry it as well. Oh, yeah. You know, 2 little squares at night, like all for me. And by the way, dark chocolate is good for you. And I'm guilty pleasure?
Of course it is.
Good.
Of course, yeah. So, what book did you most recently finish?
It's well, I'm almost finishing this one book. No, actually, I do have one for you. These truths by Jill Lepore.
These truths.
These truths.
Okay.
It's part of the U.S. Constitution. These truths. She's an incredible historian, and the audiobook on Audible is in her own voice.
Oh wow.
And on the walk I go every morning with my Charlie, my little miniature poodle, that's when I listen to the whole thing. It was, I think, 23 hours. Spectacular. There were things I did not know. It covers everything from Europe, UK, how they moved in.
Yep.
There are pockets of research she's done into documents that have never come to light.
Oh wow.
She has a highly recommended, if anybody wants to have a historical perspective of how the US was born and what was a dichotomy, and what talks about slavery. There are things that I did not think about in the way that she's portrayed them.
Okay. Well, we have a lot of listeners from the US, so no doubt there will be, and others, I'm sure, would love it. If you could go back in time, what would you tell your 16-year-old self?
I'm sorry, I missed that. There was a little lag. What was the question?
If you could go back in time, what would you tell your 16-year-old self?
Of course you can do it.
Yes, that's perfect. If you could switch lives with one person for a day, who would it be?
There is a professor of AI, Professor Fifi Lee. She actually worked on the very first AI project collecting images from the internet and having people tag it.
Okay.
And she is an activist to make sure that AI is handled responsibly. She actually speaks out. I would love to have that perspective, because she's also a scientist and and computer. She was, by the way, she graduated from the high school in the town that we live in.
Wow. So you've got some relationship. Now you have to go and sort her out.
No, I have not. I follow her. Yeah, I have not yet, but at some point I will.
Fantastic. What's one thing you've always wanted to try?
So, I'm a vegetarian from birth. It's not a religious thing. It's just I've always had this thing in my head. But when I watch people eat meat, because my family eats, right? And I go, I want to understand what that is, but and I try and I can't. So I'm like, I don't know what to do about it, right? But that is something that I want to figure out. And I have tried it, but there's just something that just I will have this probably till the day I die. I'm like, oh, I wonder what that tastes like.
Yeah. Well, what about those plant-based meals or whatever it is? I mean, I eat meat, so for me, people have said, oh, these plant-based meals, they taste just like meat. So maybe that's one way.
So the funniest thing is when I eat the Impossible Burger and stuff, or stuff made of mock duck and stuff, and I go, listen, I didn't even want to eat those things when they're real. Why would you want to eat that? Right? You're using beetroot to make the Impossible Burger have blood in it. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Wow.
I just think it's very funny. I tell people that, I'm like,
yeah. If you had to change something in the world right now, what would it be?
I think being more human. I think we've gone way far away. And as a technologist, as an engineer, because I see this stuff, and what's happening, people are just using automation and they're pushing it through without thinking about human. I think people have lost that touch.
Yeah,
and
the
I think the pandemic is awful as it was. I think it's reteaching us that. So I just want people to be more human.
Fantastic. If you could resurrect one person from history and put them in the world today, who would it be?
It's an interesting one. Who do I admire to want to learn from? I think it would be Gandhi. Because I want to understand the journey that he went through and what he did in enabling the Raj, that whole story. I think I want to hear more about it,
right?
Because I don't think the history books do justice. There's some undercurrent, right? So
yeah,
I want to talk to him.
I agree. If you were not living in the US, where would you be living?
Costa Rica.
Okay. With the little cafe by the beach. Perfect.
Yes. Also, because Costa Rica is the one place on earth, I don't know if there's any more, that have volcanoes,
Yes.
rainforests,
Yes.
beach,
Yes.
all within. So we actually drove.
Yeah. I've done the
3
same thing. I've been there.
Right?
I've driven. Yeah. Done that. Yeah, it's quite fascinating, that, isn't it? Then you said your little Charlie was gonna be very quiet.
He just walked in. Oh my God. He opened the door and he walked. Oh my God. Okay. So
That's
now
cool. That's cool. Don't worry. If you
yeah, which question are we on?
No, don't worry. If you could offer one piece of advice to upcoming data leaders, what would it be?
Look at your data like it's the blood in your organization.
Mm-hmm.
Use more human language across the board with everybody.
Yep.
Tools and technology are literally just that. They're tools.
Yes.
So the shoes they wear and the decisions they make or share with others, they're the influencers on how people should use data. They're in a very powerful position to influence the mindsets. That's what
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Yeah. What's the best lesson your parents ever taught you?
You're as good as a son.
Awesome. I love that. What's your favorite food?
Cheetos.
Cheetos. Oh my goodness. I can't believe. And aren't your fingers all kind of messed up after that as well? Oh my, I can't believe it's Cheetos. No way.
It is my one big weakness, right? I don't care for anything else. I see Cheetos, both and the real puffy ones. Oh my God, the melt in your mouth.
Goodness.
So that's a guilty pleasure, you know. But I am a healthy eater, just so you know, people
don't say that now
after
that you've got tons of packets of Cheetos around you. That's what I'm imagining. What's your favorite podcast?
NPR has amazing podcasts, and in my last corporate job, I used to commute an hour and a half each way to Pennsylvania, and I'd be listening to How I Built This. Is one of them. There's another one. I'm forgetting that, but those series of podcasts are amazing.
I'll write that down. Wonderful. What's a movie that made you cry?
Oh yeah, and I don't easily cry, man. It's the movie about the cricket team from India that goes to England. I'm forgetting the name. But it was Ranveer Singh was in it.
Right.
And
yeah,
Deepika
I don't know.
Padukone.
I'm an Indian that doesn't really watch Bollywood movies, so I'm.
So that, interestingly, because I don't like the formulaic Bollywood movies. I'm like, waste of my time.
Yeah.
But this one moved me to tears because one of the lines, and they actually reenacted what had happened, right? He said, we might have had the freedom, but we don't have the respect of, at the time what the crown had to take. And winning that meant respect.
Right.
And they were the least favorite. And so I was very touched by the fact, because, obviously being of Indian origin, I'm a US citizen, but, I think of myself as a global citizen, right?
Yeah.
So when you watch that and you watch people's angst at just wanting respect, I've been talking about respect and the emotion.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. I haven't watched it, so maybe I'll dig it out. I'm sure it's on one of the channels. Who would you say is your biggest inspiration?
There's actually leaders that are rising, and they don't have the celebrity status. But there's actually a lady who probably also recommend you speak with, Dr. Bijna Kotak Dasani. She's actually a UK resident as well.
Okay.
Brilliant woman. She has the way she gives, she's recommended, people to meet and stuff. Just a big heart that she's got is just, and she's a leader to watch.
Wonderful.
She's rising very, very quickly.
That's very cool. Now
she's, by the way, knighted. Is it the Order of the British Empire?
The OBE. Yeah.
She has that.
Oh wow. Well, I'll have to meet her then. I'll definitely have to. You have to introduce us. What can you see right now from your window? If you've got a window in there.
I do. It is a roadway, but it's got all greenery, which I love. I love nature. It's sunny outside because it rained yesterday, and fall is here.
Yes, so colors
I'm also
are
seeing
coming.
leaves on the wind. Yeah,
wonderful.
It's a beautiful day.
Perfect. That's the way it should be. What's something you still possess or have from your childhood?
Is a tape, a little mini tape that my parents recorded of me speaking when I was 5 years old.
Oh my goodness. And do you listen to that much, or have your kids listened to it?
I cannot find the recorder.
Oh no!
Now that we're all
tape
on
recorders.
digital.
Yeah.
So I have to figure out how to convert it, and save it
and preserve that. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a favorite band?
Currently, no, not at this time. I think I'm I don't think there's a favorite right now.
Okay, cool.
Oh no, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I have been recently listening to 70s, 80s, 90s, all the classics.
Okay.
ABBA.
Oh really? Oh my goodness. I was having a anyway. Yeah. That's not my favorite. But I was having a conversation with a friend and he wanted to go and see the ABBA musical. I said, I am not doing that. Sorry. That's just, I'm not going anywhere near that.
Well, you know why I actually was reminded about them?
Yeah.
There is a DJ on Instagram that mashes songs, and there's one that just went viral.
Okay.
It's ABBA's one of ABBA's numbers mashed up with, I think, another more modern song.
Right.
So I'm like, oh my god, I remember I really used to love that song. So it threw me back into
that's
retro.
fantastic. So is there a specific data trend or something that you'd like to see disappear?
Oh god, these awful analytics tools that say they're low code, no code.
Oh goodness, yes.
Just drop your data in and you can see.
Yeah.
And I said, but there's so much underneath that.
Yes.
And people are just producing these charts and graphs. And I'm saying, what does this mean? Who knows? Anyway, it just irks me.
You and I are very similar. What's a superpower you wish you had?
To be in multiple places at the same time. Beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah. Perfect. What's something you don't want to be doing in 10 years' time?
I don't want to have to worry about making money.
Yep.
I just want to do the things that I love doing.
Perfect. Looking back on your life, is there anything that you would say you would have done differently?
Yeah, I think I would have believed in myself sooner that I can do this. My husband's a born entrepreneur. He told me for years, he goes, you should get out, you should do your own thing.
Yeah.
I didn't believe. I was too scared. I was too afraid to leave the
comfort zone.
Security of
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's a tough thing to do. I think it's very tough. And not everybody can do it. That's why not everybody does it. Yeah. Which movie has or which movie makes you laugh the hardest?
What is the, oh, the National Lampoon.
Oh yeah, what vacation?
National Lampoon Vacation.
Brilliant, brilliant. I was talking about that with, yeah, I mean, my daughter said, "Daddy, what should we watch?" I said, "Well, what about this?" "No, I don't want to watch that. It's too old." That's what she said to me.
That's what my kids say too. Anything before 2000, that's what they
Yes.
tell me.
Yeah,
Is a
yeah.
no.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, these are classics, right? So
That's right.
what's a skill you're currently working on mastering? I think I know, but
Vocal music.
yeah. What 3 words best describe your leadership style?
Very transparent.
Mm-hmm.
Communicating, just clear communication.
Mm-hmm.
And listening.
Very good. In all of your clients, it could be, there, or it could be yours, but what are currently the top 3 data challenges that you are facing?
Is actually finding all the data that we need for the projects.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, they're sitting in different systems. They're sitting in different siloed organizations that won't share.
Yep.
And then just breaking down those barriers, right? Mindset, how to think about it.
Yep.
Because everybody just wants to push, the AI solution through.
Yeah.
And, I said, okay, we're going to put it on the roadmap. I'm not going to forget. We're going to put it on the roadmap because we will come back to this. We got to clean this up.
Yep. Agreed. What's the one thing you had to learn the hard way?
When I talk to leaders in the space, I wasn't selling apparently too efficiently in getting the next meeting. So I have a lot of advisors, I have a lot of mentors.
Fantastic.
And one of the things that one of them said to me, said, "What's your number one goal when you have your first call with, a lead?"
Yes.
And I said, "Oh, I just want to make sure that I understand their problem statement, etc." They're like, "No, it's getting the next meeting."
Yep. I think we've all learnt that the hard way for sure. How do you handle pressure in your career?
Deep breaths.
Perfect.
Oh, literally, I will tell you, because I've been practicing meditation. By the way, John Kabat-Zinn, the best, because I've tried many different frameworks. I go lie down either for 10 minutes or 20 minutes, completely shut everything off, take off all my wearables, and just drop.
Yeah.
And the pressure, because when I'm feeling that and I go do that, it resets. It actually puts you just above the sleep. So I've learned how to do that, in that short period of time. When you come out and you refresh your, all your organs are sort of
ready for action. Yeah. What's something you notice about someone the first time you meet them?
Their authenticity. Whether they've got the veil on, because you can tell when somebody is just putting on a persona versus being themselves. I can sort of sense that it's that the energy and the vibe, sort of just reading it.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Fantastic. And what's something you still like to learn?
It's still around music. I really want to understand the essence, because I think music is energy, and I think we are all energy.
Yeah.
And I think there's a great mystery to be discovered around that. So I want to go deeper.
Fantastic. And my final question to you, Joti, what would you like to be remembered for?
That I made someone's life better.
Perfect. Wonderful. Joti Balani, I've had such a pleasure speaking to you.
Same here.
I really have enjoyed this episode. I know that many people will, but thank you for giving me your time, and I wish you the best for the rest of the day and for the weekend.
Thank you so much, Samir, for having me. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.